Hiya. I'm out in the greenhouse today because I have not yet planted any of my autumn onion sets or my garlic or my shallots. So the aim of today is to try and get the onion sets in at least, and then if I can get any more done then I will. So I was meant to do this, well I was planning on doing this last week, but I ended up getting really poorly and ended up in hospital again. So I've been recovering and spent a lot of time in bed and on the sofa, and I probably should still be there, but I really want to get this done, and I'm getting bored of being inside. So I'm in the greenhouse so that I'm inside while being outside. And yeah, hopefully getting one of these jobs done at least, and then they can get their roots growing even though they're not out at the allotment. And yeah, so let's get this done. I'll show you what onion sets I've got to do and we'll crack on. Right, I've got Autumn Champion here, then these are Yellow Winter. And then Graham wanted me to try and do these because I've never tried these before. I don't think I've tried any of the other ones either, but these are Snowballs, so white onions. So yeah, we're going to give them a go and see what happens. And it'll be nice to see something growing, even if these end up a failure and bolting later on next year. But yeah, we'll give them a go and see what happens. This is the compost that I'm going to be using, the Melcourt Silver Grow with added John Innes, and I'll probably mix a bit of perlite in there too. Now, I was never really bothered about what composts I used until last year, and last year I kind of got into the Silver Grow products. So it might have been the year before actually that I first started using them, but I really like the Melcourt products, so I'm getting them as much as I can, and luckily at work they've always got an offer on, so it's always 4 bags for the price of 3. So as long as that offer continues, then I'll continue buying it. So yeah, so that's what I've got. Normally I use just the ordinary Silver Grow, but I just thought I'd give this one a try. No reason, as just being curious. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Right, there we go. I've filled up my tray. I'm using a 28 cell, I think, container wise tray. It's the shallow type, so that's what I'm using. I've mixed a bit of perlite into the compost. You don't have to do that, I just wanted to. And then these are the sets. These sets are quite a good size actually. So yeah, I don't want to teach anyone to suck eggs, but if you are new to this and you've never done it before, this is the top growing point, and then the bottom here is the rooted bit that you want to poke into the soil there. You just want to leave the top off. As the you'll probably find as they grow, the roots will push it out a bit further anyway. So yeah, I've just got to spend a little while now popping all of these in. I think I've got 24 of these, so they're all going to go in here and they can start growing, and then when I am well enough and ready to, then I can prepare a bed at the allotment and just whack these out wherever they're gonna, in whichever bed they're going to go in. So at least doing this gives them a chance to start getting their roots going. Right, they're all in now. Most importantly, I need to put their label in. So I've got the label of what they are, and then I've written the date that I've put them in on the other side. So I'm just going to stick that in the corner of the tray and then carry on with the others. Right, up next is the Yellow Winter Onion sets. These are proper chunky sets as well. They're really good size again. I think with this one I've got it might be 30 sets, something like that. So I might have to do a couple in a little pot or something, but I will see how we go. So I'm just gonna whack all of these in and show you when I'm done. There you go, all in. So that's the yellow winter onions done. There was a couple left, so I've just popped them in a little pot because I may as well grow them. Now, I don't know about you, but I find that these autumn onion sets, they are one of these things that are really, can be like hit or miss. Some years they do amazing and you get such a great crop from them, and other years they can be a complete flop and you get nothing, and they just, you know, they all go to seed and you get frustrated and think, why am I doing this every year? But you know, I think it's worth it because some years you do get that great crop, so it's just one to sort of, you're just winging it basically. You know, you never know what results you're going to get, and there's not much else to do garden wise, like growing, you know, there's not a great deal of things going on, so I don't think it hurts to do a few just to see what happens. So right, I'm going to get the snowball onion sets in. There seems to be quite a lot more of those, so we'll see how we get on with them. Right, here we go, ready for the snowball onions. I'm still using the same size tray, although these onion sets, these snowball ones, they're quite a bit smaller than the other sets that I've been planting, which I got from Malvern. These ones are just like off the peg in the garden centre, and they are much smaller onions. So yeah, the sets are, some of them are quite puny. I'll probably plant them all anyway and see what happens, and if I don't want to plant them all out, then I can just use them as like green onions in a recipe, so they won't go to waste, they will get used. So I'm gonna plant them all, whether they are piddly tiny little bulbs like this or not. I am still gonna give them a go. Well, that's one tray done, and I've still got quite a pile of sets, so I'm gonna get another tray ready and see how many I get, because I didn't count these ones before because there were so many I couldn't be bothered. Well, if those snowball onions work, then they're a bit of a bargain, really. I got 3 trays out of that one little bag, so yeah, I think that's a bit of a bargain if they work. So there you go, 3 trays of snowball, a tray of autumn champion, and then up the top here I've got my yellow winter onions. Right, I know that I haven't really got time to get all the shallots and the garlic in today, so that might have to wait a day or two. I'm starting to feel a bit ropey, so I don't want to be out here too long, but one thing that I do want to get done before I go inside is I got this rosemary reduced in the co-op, and I thought I'd pot it up and see if anything came of it. So I'm going to do that now, and yeah, fingers crossed some of it takes, because rosemary on roast potatoes is just the best. Right, so I've got my rosemary here. I've got some pots. I think these are, what are they, like 7 centimetre pots possibly, and then I've got my compost here. So what I've done is I've used the Melcourt Silver Row compost, the one with added Johniness, so it's the yellow bag that I've got, and then I've mixed in perlite, and roughly this is probably about 2 parts compost, 1 part perlite, just for like really good drainage. So this is a little bit of practice for me because we recently did cuttings at college, and so I'm just practicing. However, this is not quite how we do it at college. Sorry, it's got really loud in here because it is tipping it down with rain. You can probably hear it. Now, when we do at college, we need a clean surface. This is not quite a clean surface. So, you know, and clean hands, which I do not have. And I am not, in this rain, going back indoors to wash my hands and everything. So I'm just going to wing it and hope for the best, which probably isn't, you know, the ideal, but here we go. Right, so I've set my camera up on a tripod, but I haven't got much room in here, so I can't quite get the whole like board in, so hopefully you can see. Now I've sorted out the longer bits of rosemary so that I can try and get the best cuttings out of them. So first things first is I want to get my pot and fill it up, and I basically want to get it nice and like reasonably solid in there, so that when I put the cuttings in they don't wobble around. And then, so I've got one pot ready there. I'm not going to bother with labels. I know that I've got rosemary here, so it's pretty obvious what it is. So basically what we want to do is end up with a cutting possibly about that long. So I don't know, 8 centimeters long, maybe something like that. And that means I need to cut off the bottom bit that I don't need, and then I need to take off all these leaves and leave a nice sort of sprouty bit like that at the top. But also I need to cut out the very tip, the growing tip as well. So hopefully I can do that. So I'm going to cut now right underneath here, with a knife that's probably not very well suited to the job. So yeah, I'm winging it basically in every sense of the word. And then I just need to cut off these lower leaves as well. And these, hopefully these little nodes here where the leaves are coming out will be the areas that will then produce the roots. So if we can focus in, then these bits here will then produce our roots for us in the future. Yeah, the college thing is new to me this year. It's just something that I decided to do. So I'm not, you know, I've been gardening for I don't know, 24 years, something like that now, and it's something that I just really love to do, and thought that I should just sort of go and learn as much as I can, because like gardening is one of those things, isn't it, whereas you're never really going to learn everything because it's so different across the world, and you know, weather and climate, you know, everything is different everywhere, so you can never really learn everything. But I thought I wanted to learn as much as possible, so yeah, I went back to school. So that's the cutting I'm going to use. I could probably also take these off actually, but yeah, I'm going to take these off as well and then pop them on into the pot. So in the pot, I'm just going to pop that in the corner, stick it in right the way down, so that's just sticking out like that, and I want it in nice and firm, so that it's wiggled, it's not going to move anywhere. So yeah, this is something that I find difficult to do. Obviously needed the practice for this, so yeah, this is a good thing for me to be doing. So yeah, I'm going to crack on and get the last of these, get all of these done. I've got a nice little pile that I've sorted out here. I I could probably spread them out between 2 pots to give them a nice amount of space. So there we go, I've got 2 pots there of 5 cuttings each, so I've got 10 in total. So hopefully some of those will take and I'll have more rosemary to go on. Right then, I'm going to go indoors because I'm feeling pretty ropey, but I'm glad that I've got something done. Something is now growing ready for next year, so I'm chuffed that I've got something done, but I still got a few more jobs to do in here. So if I can get down in another day or 2 and do the garlic and the shallots, and I also want to do some onions for Pete Trenuth's giant garlic competition, because I want some action. I'm obviously going to be a bit later than everyone else because I haven't sown any yet, but that is definitely a job that I want to get done by the end of next week. So, you know, just wait, Pete. I'm it's fighting talk now. Oh, what I'll do is I'll link Pete's channel in the description so that you can go and see what the heck I'm talking about. He's got loads of videos on it, so yeah. But thank you very much for joining me. Let me know what autumn onions you're doing, if any, in the comments. I'd like to see what varieties are out there. So yeah, put what you're growing in the comments, and I'll see you in another video again soon. Bye bye for now.